Come on, BTC.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse and this very exciting Friday. I think that's how I'm going to put it. It's the 19th of July. It's 11 a.m. Central European Time, 10 a.m. in the UK. Bright and early for those of you that don't like to sleep in. What we're going to go through today then, we are going to go through, is Donald Trump going to create a USA reserve? It's the big headline. It takes up a section of the show. It's the headline of the show, and we're going to find out probably in a week or so's time. So we're going to have a look at that. The XRP case has been postponed. We're going to go and have a look at that. Bye bye Matic. What is going on there? Ondo, we're going to have a review of that. Yesterday we looked at an RWA project. Today we're going to look at Ondo. We're going to go through the website and then have a look at the price action. Then we're going to have a look at Meta are not going to be launching any more projects in Europe. Why? And then the Waz's X SHIB hack, I suppose you could call it. What's going on there and what is he doing with the tokens? All of that. And of course, the usual X files to start the show. But there are some people in chat today that we need to say hello to. Drop Dead is in chat. Eugene, Harry, well, I'm obviously in chat. Hidden Agendas is here. And a big warm welcome to Lucius, who has become the latest OG member. Remember, you can become an OG member of Crypto Warehouse and help support us financially. It's very easy to do. Now, bottom left-hand corner, 2 live shows yesterday. I had my show at 11. Brogan had his show at 9. That got us up towards 148,000. We are now 1,850 followers away from 150,000. Now, we're going to try and scrape together some crypto and do a Wednesday night special. Maybe it will be next Wednesday. We will see what we can put together, but it will be a major milestone for us. And on the way to 200,000, which is the goal for this year, 200,000 by the end of this year would be astronomically good. So again, if you are here and you want to help the channel, the easiest thing you can do is follow us. Press the follow button or the subscribe button or whatever buttons you've got, press them. And then we will, of course, love you forever. Now then, let's skip on very quickly. Don't want to run out of time today. Market cap, 2.33 trillion. Remember, the goal really is to try and get towards 10 trillion, except when we talk about the news that we're going to talk about the reserve in a minute, I don't think 10 trillion is going to do it justice, but let's have a look at that. So 2.33 trillion, volume not very high, 70 billion. Market dominance, Bitcoin and Ethereum still coming in at 71%. Again, that hasn't really changed in months. Bitcoin coming in just under 64,000. There are lots and lots of bullish indicators suggesting we are going to go above 65,000 today. But all week I have been telling you about the price target I have, that Bitcoin needs to break and hold or it will come back down again. We're going to go through that in a minute. Ethereum coming in just under $3,400, BNB 571, Solana's having a good time, just under $164. Gainers and losers, where are we? Not too many gainers today, certainly not double-digit gainers. Dog with Hat, Mantle, Toncoin, Optimism, not really a lot of gaining. And at the other end, again, not really a lot of losers either. WorldCoin, Lido, Starknet, Multiverse, Akash, Polygon is down. Polygon at 51 cents is an absolute steal. I cannot believe it's not a top 20 coin. I just cannot believe it. It's the layer 2 on Ethereum. But there we go. Mogcoin is coming in. Again, 5% down, as is Beam and Gala. So not a lot, really, not like yesterday and the day before when we had a lot of big gains and big losses. So let's move on and have a look at some X-Files. Good morning, Kishan. Welcome to the show. So then, again, on Monday, we are going to see the approval of the Ethereum ETFs. It is written in the stars. And then on Tuesday next week, they go live. Let me repeat myself. On Monday, they are all approved. On Tuesday, they go live. I'm going to make an Ethereum price prediction video today, and it won't be what you think. And I'm not going to cover it in the show today. We don't have time. Here are the details for the Ethereum ETFs. They're only missing Pro shares. 7 of the 10 funds have fee waivers. So you'll see there, the majority of these funds are between 0.2, 0.1 and 0.25% fees, except for Grayscale, which is coming in at 2.5%. That is, in my opinion, a false target, because you'll also see that there is a Grayscale Ethereum mini trust coming in at 0.25 and 0.12%, and that is what I think they will want most people to use rather than the Ethereum trust, or it was the Ethereum trust, it's now the Ethereum ETF. So again, exciting times, exciting times. Now then, Dr. Craig Stephen Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto. This has been published by Dr. Craig Stephen Wright. On May the 20th, 2024, Stephen Wright was found guilty by the High Court of England and Wales to have been dishonest in his claims to have been the person behind the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. The court found that he lied to the court extensively and repeatedly in his evidence, and he attempted to create a false narrative by forging documents on a grand scale. He committed a most serious abuse of the process of the courts of the UK, Norway, and the USA. So he is not the author. He is not the owner of the white paper. He is not the person that adopted the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. He is not the person who created Bitcoin. This has come at the end of years and years of Craig Wright claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto. And I imagine he has to post this to fulfill some kind of legal requirement. So there you go. Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto. We all knew that, except for him. In his head, he believed he was, but he clearly wasn't. Next. Again, I'm not having a go. I'm not having a go at Satoshi. Sorry, I'm not having a go at Vitalik or Anatoly in this, but I disagree with this post. Imagine thinking that the pictures of a person deadlifting or wearing a mask in an aeroplane makes any difference regarding that person's capacity to design a decentralized and credibly neutral network that outlasts the test of time. I do think that this is important to understand, because people buy products based on the image of that person. Now, if you have a very obese person trying to sell you health and lifestyle products or slimming pills, you wouldn't believe them. If you had Kojak try and sell you shampoo, you wouldn't believe him. So it does matter. It does matter the public image that they portray. Absolutely, it matters. So I disagree with this, because we are all human beings, and we all, believe it or not, we all base our opinions on people on what we see about them. Now, what this says to me, very simply, is Vitalik looks like he is immunocompromised, and Anatoly is trying to get fit and strong and healthy. That's all it says to me. But there are other pictures of Vitalik which I don't put him in. I don't think he's in a good light, because he has in the past at the Ethereum Foundation conventions got on stage and danced as a Pikachu character. This is not somebody, in my opinion, who should be leading the second largest cryptocurrency in the world. That's just my opinion. Anatoly is way more of a statesman as far as business is concerned. He comes from a mobile phone background. I'm not, again, having a go at either of them. What I'm saying is, you have to judge a book by its cover. That's the key. If I showed you some pictures of other people who ran chains, you'd also base your opinions on them on those pictures. So the public image is important. Why do you think you have Biden and Trump trying to portray themselves as being men of the people? Why do the Labour and Conservative governments, leaders around the world, try and portray themselves as men and women of the people? Because they're trying to win your vote using their image. So don't come at me with this BS about we shouldn't base our opinions on how they can build a blockchain. Of course we should. We base our opinions on footballers, on how they look, you know, on people in the street. If you see somebody walking towards you and their face is covered in skulls and crossbows and tattoos, and they look really, really dangerous, what would you do? You'd cross the road. If a man or woman was walking towards you in a suit, you wouldn't. It's an image, and it's a public image, and it's how they portray what they are like. Now then, just a little side. Again, I'm not sponsored by this coin. Daddy, as part of Andrew Tate's grand road plan, has now set a deal up with Travelcom, so you can buy tickets and flights using your Daddy token. And I expect this to happen with Mother as well. I also, as I said in the video, in the stream, yesterday, everything that's going to go on in the future of meme coins is going to revolve around utility. Why buy this token when I can buy Bonk or Shiba or Floki, which has utility? Why buy them? So I think we're going to see a move by these meme coins into utility in the very near future. So then, again, when everybody says we're going down, we go up. When everybody says we're going up, we're going down. And Sentiment has put this out here. Positive commentary towards Bitcoin has plummeted despite the mid-sized crypto market bounce this week. Many traders are opening shorts with the expectation of Bitcoin dropping again. Both of these factors increase the likelihood of cryptocurrency rising. Why is that? Because To liquidate the shorts, you push the price up. To liquidate the longs, you push the price down. So liquidations is the name of the game. We are likely to see a move up. We're going to have a look at the chart in a minute. But first, this is the headline news. And this isn't just the headline of today. This is probably the most important headline we have ever read on this channel. Bar none. Bar none. And that is that Donald Trump could announce Bitcoin as a US strategic reserve asset in Nashville on July the 27th. Next week. What is in Nashville? That is the Bitcoin Conference 2024. He will announce it there. Every price prediction that you have seen in the last 6 months, you can ignore. Everything I've told you about the price of Bitcoin, you can ignore. Obviously, he has to go ahead with this. And obviously, America has to start to buy Bitcoin. We know this. But what I'm saying here is, we've gone from boomers and degens and 401ks and investment funds. We've gone from them buying Bitcoin. And I've said all along that we're going to see more and more nation states buying Bitcoin. There is no bigger nation state, sovereign state, than the United States of America in terms of their purchasing power. China, contrary to belief, is on its knees. Banks aren't just closing in China, they're vanishing. They're disappearing. Friday, the bank closes its doors. Monday morning, people are going to these offices and the banks are not there. I am not making this up. So, if Trump announces that the US Strategic Reserve is going to hold Bitcoin, it is not going to hold 1 Bitcoin. It is not going to hold 10,000 Bitcoin. Donald Trump is a man of targets and goals and sound bites. He will want 1 million Bitcoin. And when he's got 1 million Bitcoin, he will want 2 million Bitcoin. So, this hasn't happened yet. This is all conjecture. He might want to allocate a percentage of the funds to Bitcoin. However, it's been alluded to that this could happen. So I'm going to go through the article and then we'll go through the charts. But this is not to be written off, because this is what El Salvador is doing, but on 100,000 times the scale. El Salvador is buying Bitcoin, I think it's every day, or is it every week? They're buying Bitcoin. They're buying, I think, 1 Bitcoin a day or a week, something like that. America will be doing the same thing on a much grander scale. So Donald Trump is set to make a highly anticipated appearance as a keynote speaker at the up-and-coming Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville, scheduled for the 25th to the 27th. This created a buzz of excitement. We know why. According to Dennis Porter, co-founder of the non-profit organization Satoshi, Donald Trump intends to unveil Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset for the United States. Now, again, I don't want to overemphasize this point, but this is the end game for Bitcoin. We have Michael Saylor, who wants to create a kind of liquidity pool. He wants to take all of the Bitcoin he has owned and he owns, and he wants to turn it into a kind of a collateral bank where people will stake assets to borrow Bitcoin to put up against other levels of blockchain collateral. That's his end game. But the end game for Bitcoin is for Bitcoin to become a global reserve currency. That's the end game. Now, I did not think we would be talking about this for at least another 6 to 7 years. Maybe the next president of America. Maybe Russia and China and Saudi Arabia take a charge on this. But no, here we are. The paradigm will shift and the world will understand they must also have a Bitcoin position. This report is yet to be confirmed by Donald Trump, his staff, or any external sources. Therefore, it is still speculation. Let me point that out. So political leaders have long advocated for considering Bitcoin as a reserve asset. One of them, Vivek, a former presidential candidate, has been advising Trump on Bitcoin and digital assets since January. David Bailey, CEO of Bitcoin Magazine, is also an advisor to the Trump campaign. He's explored the theoretical impacts of the US adopting Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. His vision involves securing a significant Bitcoin reserve for the US Treasury by time locking the 210,000 Bitcoin held by the USA for 100 years. Again, good idea. Adding to the speculation surrounding increased progress points measures, Donald Trump announced J.D. Vance, who we've also covered on the channel. He is also heavy Bitcoin holder. He's got $250,000. Again, now, I can't stress this enough. This is obviously a rumor, but this is going to happen. And it may happen today, it may happen tomorrow, it may happen in 2027, it's going to happen. And this is the end game. Once the UK, America, France, Germany, parts of Asia and Africa, once they start to buy Bitcoin, it is all over. Okay? It is all over. Then comes the kind of the conspiracy side of things, which we've talked about on here before. And that's very simple. You need to put your Bitcoin onto a ledger. And you need to put that ledger somewhere absolutely safe. Many of you have probably never read about what America did with gold. America seized the gold held by its population. It asked people to swap their gold for US dollars. I don't know how many years ago. It was 100 years ago, 80 years ago, whenever it was. And they basically forcibly removed gold from you. Don't think it can't happen. Look what happened 3 years ago. And I've said this before. Look what they made you do. And you think that they can't take your Bitcoin off you. If your Bitcoin is on exchanges, they could get it off you. If your Bitcoin is in a non-custodial wallet or a ledger or somewhere like that, they cannot touch it because they don't know it's yours, number one. And number two, you can hide it. And I'm not suggesting any of those things are legal or illegal because currently they're not illegal. But what I'm saying is you need to be careful what you do with your Bitcoin. I don't think people appreciate just how rare. I think we're back. Sorry about that. Okay. Something I need to say. There are certain things I can and cannot talk about. And this is what happens when I talk about certain things. So I need to be very careful on the wording that I use. And that might sound like a conspiracy theory, but we know for a fact it happens. So we're going to move on and talk about the Bitcoin chart. Now, we are at, again, a really important level. And that level is still 65.5. We need to break this level here. Every time in the past, if you look at what happens with Bitcoin, it can't break. It tries. It comes down, it goes, and there we go. Now, we've tried here, we got to the midpoint, we came tumbling down. We've come up, we've touched it. Are we going to come down to 61,000? I think not. I think not. I think we're good. I think what we need to do is we need to consider, we can get rid of this M pattern now, I think. We can consider the news that's coming out over today and Monday and Tuesday. And what is likely to happen is that we probably do this at some point towards Monday or Tuesday. I think we will break Monday or Tuesday to the upside. The Ethereum ETF is going live. Great news. Once that happens, all the skies are blue, the sun is shining, the birds are tweeting, and for a few days we should be in clover, except there is a dark cloud on the horizon of Ethereum. But we'll go through that in a video. I'm not going to do that now. So then, what time is it? 25 past, and we are here. Okay, so XRP has dropped 7% as Ripple versus the SEC settlement allegedly postponed. Again, we were all talking about $1. I was certainly talking about $1 on the stream on Monday. It didn't transpire. So we'll look at the chart, but we were talking about this level of move, which is we needed to hold this line, and we haven't. But look where we've come. We've come straight back down to the bull market support band. So we're not in a worse position too much, but we need to really get on with this case. So 7% down, case hasn't happened. The SEC has cancelled the meeting with Ripple, which is typical. Mid-July was a hot time for popular cryptocurrency XRP. Over the course of 2 weeks, the price rose by 53%, at the peak of its growth, reaching a high not seen since early April. The rise was due primarily to a year ago when the court ruled in its favour, but we also said that there was going to be a court case, a meeting today to finalise the fine. Many have begun to believe this was the discussion for the settlement terms with Ripple. The latest issue of contention between the crypto company and the commission is the level of remedies for unregistered sales by legal entities. While the SEC insists on a multi-million-dollar fine, Ripple is willing to pay more than $10 million. Again, I think it's going to be more like $100 million, but there we go. So they're awaiting the outcome of this legal battle today, when, according to the same SEC website, this very meeting was cancelled. And that is what happened to the price of XRP. So it dropped more than 8%. It's funny that the token rose on nothing and fell on nothing, but that's the crypto market. Follow all this roller coaster price action, cut out rubbish. Okay, so what happened really is, if we remove some of these markers for a minute to kind of clear everything up, look at where we were before the news of a potential case and look at where we are now. Okay, we've moved from 42 cents, we're now sitting at 54 cents. We've already gone up 25%. Okay, so the cancellation hasn't really got rid of the motivation behind XRP. It's going to happen. What would be great to see is, again, come to the bull market support band, retest it, get above, and then away we go. However, as I said when I covered this on Monday or Tuesday, this isn't going to happen. We're going to see a God candle. And we don't know when that God candle is going to be. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, there is the God candle. This was a year ago. This was July the 12th, whenever it was, a year ago. And that price action took XRP from 47, let's call it 48 cents, all the way up to 93 cents. So a 100% move in a day. Again, over here, a 100% move would actually take us to about there. So again, I'm not saying it's going to happen on Monday or Tuesday. I mean, I'm saying that my TA or Brogan's TA, whatever you're saying, where we're talking about breaking back above the trend line and using it as support, it's absolute nonsense. None of it's going to matter. The SEC case closing is going to send this above $1. It's going to go north very quickly and then probably retrace back. We could see some kind of action like that, where we go back above the 97 cent range, maybe come down and touch it again and move up. Again, when is it going to happen? I don't know. Is XRP a good price at 54 cents? Yes, it is. Do I think XRP is going to go to $69 in the bull run? No, I do not. Everybody has their opinion. My opinion is we should be looking at $3 to $5 for XRP. Other people will tell you $1,000. Other people will tell you $690. You can go and get anybody to tell you what you want to hear, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen, and then it's up to you to decide whether you agree with me or not. And if you don't, great, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion the same way I'm allowed to have an opinion, except in identity politics these days, you are not allowed to have a different opinion. And that is why communism is alive and well in society today. Now then, this is a seismic shift towards the end of this year for one of our favourite tokens on the channel, and that is that Matic is going to be replaced with Pol in September, which is probably six or 7 weeks away. So if you hold Matic, it will no longer be called Matic in September, it will be called Pol. I like it when coins change names, when there's a reason behind it. Polygon, the key developer behind Polygon Layer 2 network, has announced a significant technical upgrade scheduled for September the 4th, which will replace its current Matic token with Pol. The transition is part of the broader Polygon 2 roadmap unveiled last year, proposed to the community in July 23, that overall aims to establish Pol as a primary token across all Polygon networks. The initial phase of this upgrade will involve changing the proof of stake to Pol. Then they will, I imagine, go through each blockchain, they will go through each exchange, and it will all happen over a series of weeks. Remember, we talked a lot about the ASI merger. That still hasn't gone through on a lot of the exchanges that I hold FET on. It's still called FET. Even though they've given it artificial superintelligence, it's still got the ticker of FET. That hasn't gone through yet. Again, what is Polygon? It is the biggest ZK provider in the world. It's got the AG layer, shared and pooled liquidity. It's the behemoth in the room that nobody talks about. Everyone's off playing with Arbitrum and Optimism. Matic, it's right under your nose. It's there. It's the chain link of Ethereum. Okay, it's the big one. So Pol is a hyper-productive token that can be used to provide valuable services to any chain in the Polygon network, including the AG layer itself. So what is the AG layer going to do? It is going to allow 50, 100 different blockchains to all share and pool liquidity, atomic level transactions. The coin that's going to power that is going to be Pol. Okay, it's going from a mere one chain coin to a multi-chain payment solution. It's the gas for the AG layer. You cannot sleep on Matic. I'm not saying you should go out and convert 20% of your assets to Pol, or Matic should I say, but consider putting 1% of your portfolio into Matic. It's 50 cents. It should be over $1, not much over $1. Maybe it should be at $1.10 about now. Can it hit $5 in this bull run? It should do. It should certainly hit $3 or $4. That's an 8x from where we are now, and we don't have a lot of the bull run left. We've only got a year and a bit left. So don't sleep on Matic. No action is going to be required. Users holding Matic on the Polygon's ZK EVM rollup, centralized exchanges, or the Ethereum blockchain will need to follow specific procedures detailed in the post below. Polygon tested the token upgrade in a test developed on July the 17th, resolving any issues. It coincides with the Benzinga's Future of Digital Assets conference. Very nice. So there we go. Again, it's not going to happen now, but be forewarned that Matic is going to change in the future. I hold Matic, and for the record, I have staked it on chain. So my Matic is sitting there. I think way back when I first bought Matic, I think I was getting about 8 or 9% APR. And then obviously the emissions reduce over time. I think it's down to about 4%, which is good for the chain. It's good for the emissions. It's good for inflation. It's good for the price action as well. A lot of chains do this as well. Solana is another one. Solana had massive APR, massive emissions at the beginning, now not so much. So all the scare stories about the fact there's going to be 1 trillion SOL in the near future, it's all BS. Every year, the amount of SOL that you receive for staking reduces. And with that, and with the increase in popularity, the price will appreciate. So I think at the minute you're getting 6 or 7% on your Solana. I guarantee you in about 2 years' time, you'll be getting 5, maybe 4.5. So, you know, make hay while the sun shines. Now, we're going to move on to a review. And this is a token. And again, I'm not giving you financial advice because that's not what I do. But I am going to tell you that there are certain tokens that you should be buying. And again, I am not sponsored by anybody in this video, in this stream today, but I am going to talk about the projects that I've researched that I think you should buy. And this is one of them. And I held off reviewing this project for a long time. And the reason I held off was I needed a certain number of things for it to happen. Certain market cap size, make sure it wasn't going to get hacked initially, all those kind of things. Jumping straight into a project is only going to end in one way, and that's disaster. I'm going to make a video, by the way, about pre-sales today as well for OGs, so keep an eye out for that. So what is Ondo? Ondo is only one of 2 coins that I have invested in this year, the other being NEAR. I've bought NEAR, I didn't have it last year, I've got it this year. Ondo, I didn't have last year, I bought in May or June, I think. What is it? It's an institutional grade financial blockchain based product. At the minute, it has 2 products. A US dollar yield paying you 5.3% and the US treasuries paying you 4.8%. And as I said in my video I made the other day about another coin, the Swarm coin, the treasury yields, they will fluctuate with time. As interest rates come down, the yields are likely to come down. Good morning, Bullish Bull. Listening with a sore head. Well, I'm going to have some wine tonight because I'm not going to stream tomorrow. I need a break. So they will change over time, but the key here is and this is what I want to show you. The people connected to Ondo, and I'm not going to read them all out because most of them aren't important. You will see on the left-hand side, you will see BlackRock, you will see Chainlink. Again, I'm not reading them all out. You will see Drift Protocol. Why is that important? Because Drift is allowing Ondo products to be accessed on the Solana blockchain. Okay? So, what have we said on this channel? We've said Ethereum is going to be the blockchain of financial institutions and Solana is going to be the blockchain of retail. If you have a product like this, which is offering treasury yields and US dollar yields, you are not just going to want it to be available to institutions. You want retail. Where do you go for retail? Solana. So Ondo is connected to Chainlink. It is connected to BlackRock. It is connected to Drift Protocol. Further down here, it is connected to the likes of Helio. Why is that important? On and off ramping. Okay. We go down here. It is connected to Mantra, which Peter, who comes into chat a lot, talks about. It is absolutely flying at the minute, Mantra. What is Mantra? It's a blockchain to allow for RWAs. So if you want to build a tokenized project, you could build it on Mantra. Ondo are already connected to them. Okay. Mantra is another great pick. For me, it's still more speculation than delivery, whereas Ondo is 100% delivery. Okay. It's also connected to many other things. It's connected to Orca, it's connected to Pyth, connected to Polygon, as you'd expect, a lot of the blockchains. Look at the list of companies it is associated with. Okay, now this, let me explain. This is backed by BlackRock. This is BlackRock's product. It's not because, of course, it's a separate entity. But remember last year when Bitcoin was disappearing off exchanges and nobody knew who was buying it, and then we found out that BlackRock had set up a trust to buy Bitcoin, so nobody knew it was them, and that was allowed, and that's not illegal. Well, guess what? What do you think Ondo is? Ondo is BlackRock's foot in the door of providing providing yield-bearing assets on the blockchain. BlackRock's number one goal in life is to tokenize everything. They are going to have a tokenized stock exchange in Texas. 24/7, 365 days a year, you'll be able to trade. It's an existential threat to every stock market in the world, bar none. Okay? They want all the stocks. They want all the bonds. And guess what? They want all the crypto. So what are they doing? They have BlackRock, they have Bitcoin, they have Ethereum, they're going to get Solana. That's 3/4 of crypto. What do people on the blockchain not want to do with their money? They don't want to take it off the blockchain. So how does BlackRock tap into all of that money? They provide them with a solution that gives them a yield on real world assets, treasuries, and the US dollar. BlackRock are playing chess, 5D chess, and everybody's walking around wondering why Joe Biden is trying to kiss another woman that's not his wife. Ignore that's not the game. This is the game. BlackRock are seeping under the door of every apartment in crypto. They are going into Solana. They are going into Ethereum. They're already in Bitcoin. They are going after your money, not in a negative way. They're going after your money to make profit off your wealth. So Ondo, and you're never going to beat them. Before you read a lot of these people, good morning, Kabir. You see a lot of these people. And I'm going to get onto the price action in a minute, Drop Dead, because it's not boring, believe it or not. It's boring in a micro sense, but not in a macro sense. So Ondo, I'm not, again, do I hold Ondo? Yes, I bought it. I bought it fair and square. I bought it on an exchange. I hold it. I hold enough of it now to be happy. It's a certain, it's like, it's not even 1% of my portfolio, but it's a nice chunk. I am going to be looking at Swarm, Mantra, and Ondo as places to put my money when I sell at the end of this bull run. So what I am going to do now over the course of the next 3 or 4 months is do my KYC on Ondo, do my KYC on Swarm, and then if they've got some kind of solution on Mantra so I can be approved there, great. And then I am going to start using US dollar yields to keep some of my profits so they're on the blockchain for the next bull run. Remember, it's all well and good. Let's say Kabir has $200,000. Let's say Kabir has $200,000 and Kabir brings all of that money down to HSBC in London. And HSBC are like, thank you very much. There's now £150,000. And Kabir says, right, okay, well, I'd like to put it into a 12-month savings account. Absolutely, Kabir. 3% interest. Kabir is happy. He's getting 3% on his money. That is currently above inflation. Away we go. Then, let's work it out. March 2026. March 2026. Kabir's sitting there and he's got his 150,000 plus his 3%. He's got $156,000, £156,000. And he goes to HSBC and says, excuse me, Mr. HSBC, I would like to send £156,000 to this place. No, I'm afraid you can't do that, Kabir. It's my money. Yeah, but we can't let you do that. We've got to protect you from yourself. So you can't have your money back. I'm sorry, you can't have your money back, Kabir. It's ours now. You can have £5,000 a month, which would take you 2.5 years to get back onto the blockchain. Okay? So, this happens in America, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, everywhere. I'm not picking on Kabir, by the way. I'm just giving him as an example because he was the last person to comment in chat. So what could Kabir do? Well, Kabir makes his $200,000. He doesn't have to convert it back to pounds, number one. He could come along to Ondo and say, right, I'm going to put $100,000 into treasuries and $100,000 into USDY. Good morning, Tariq. Tariq won't have $200,000 at the end of this bull run. He will own probably 6 or 7 different Teslas. And he'll be driving around. He'll have one for every day of the week. That's what Tariq is going to do with his profits. So, Kabir puts his money in. March 2026 comes around. Is it March 2026? I've lost track of it. Yes. February, March 2026. We're at the pits of the bear market. Kabir is thinking to himself, it's the end of crypto. It's finished. But Mike keeps telling me we're on a 4-year cycle. So I'm going to take all my money out. And now Kabir will have $110,000 in USDY and $110,000 in treasuries. He's got $220,000. And he goes in and he buys his Bitcoin at $70,000. Now, I know a lot of you are out there thinking, but we're currently at $64,000. The pits of the bear market, it will be somewhere around $70,000 in the next bear market. We come down roughly to previous all-time high. Now, whether the ETFs change everything and maybe we come down to $85,000 or something like that, or $75,000 is irrelevant. The point of the matter is, it's about timing. So then Kabir gets his 220 grand out. He puts it straight back into crypto at, let's say, 80,000, 75,000. And Kabir has turned his 1 or 2 Bitcoin into 4 Bitcoin, 3 Bitcoin, whatever it might be. That's how I am going to be playing this. And that's how you should be thinking about it. Because these products solve a problem that you didn't realize existed. And that is, if you do make 50, it won't come to 50,000. Okay, look at the previous all-time high and then look at where the price of Bitcoin came down to. So we came down to about 16 or 17,000 in the bear market. The previous all-time high was about 18,000. If you go back, we came down to 3,000. Previous all-time high was 3,000. This bull run, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to come down to around about $60,000 to $70,000. That's where we're going. And that is on the proviso that everything I've said about the US Reserve doesn't play out. Because this could be the last bull run. And I'm being serious. I'm not being over dramatic. If Trump comes into power and buys Bitcoin at the rate America can buy Bitcoin, we are no longer going to be talking about a 5-figure Bitcoin. And it will never go to 5 figures ever again. So we'll take that out of the equation. The point of the matter is, the problem is, if you make $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 in this bull run, and you take your money to your local bank are not going to allow you to put it back into the blockchain. And that's the problem. Once your money comes out on a very large scale, it's very difficult to put back in. Okay? I had a problem with KYC with one of the exchanges last month. I mined Ethereum when Ethereum was $70 or $80. How many years ago was that? I don't know. 6 years ago? Doesn't matter, but let's say 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I was asked to provide the electricity bills from 6 years ago from my miner that I didn't own. It was owned by somebody else. I paid them for the service. They wanted the electricity costs of that miner. Now, you bring down $300,000 to a bank and they will ask you where it's come from. And quite rightly, of course, ask you where it's come from. And then maybe you can show receipts and maybe you can't show receipts. I don't know. Maybe you can say it's from trading, maybe you can say whatever. But the problem is, if you can't provide a source of funds of where it's come from, you're in a problem getting it out in the first place. Secondly, you might not want to get it out because you can't get it in again, because banks have limits, £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 a month limits on how much you can put back in. So what you're best off doing, if you do have $200,000 or $300,000, is you need to go to a private bank and you need to go and sit down with them and have a conversation with them. And if there are no private banks near you, this Ondo solution or Mantra or Swarm, that is your next safest bet. They are institutional grade. You will have to do KYC, but you have to do KYC anyway. But once you're set up with these people, they pay you better yields than your banks. And at the end of the day, I am in a situation where I can't bring my money out, because even though I've been telling my bank where my crypto has been coming from for the last 5 or 6 years, they still do not accept that as proof of source of funds. They want to go back, way back. It's impossible. You can't do it, and you're going to be left in it with a headache. Now, maybe in the future we get Solana banks, and maybe we get a Polygon bank where you can go to this Solana bank and they'll give you banking solutions. Maybe the exchange that you're on will offer you banking solutions in the near future. That is something we can hope for. You know, maybe the top tier exchanges that you're watching us on, maybe they will give you a bank. Maybe they will get a license. Again, I can't predict the future. What I can say is these products are my solution for my problem that you don't know you have. Let's put it that way. You don't know you've got these problems, but you have. You've got the same problems as me. Now, we're going to move on because it is that time of the day. Actually, no, we're not going to move on. We're going to look at the Ondo chart because Drop Dead said it was boring price action. So this is the daily chart. What did we do with Ondo? Well, let's go back. I'm going to tell you where I bought Ondo as well, just so you know. So from the beginning of February, Ondo you could have picked up for 20 cents. Did I buy it at 20 cents? No. It bounced off 45 cents. Did I buy it there? No. It came up and bounced off this fib level at 78 cents. Did I buy it then? No, I did not. I bought Ondo at the first purchase of Ondo I made at that price there. That's my first buy of Ondo. Why? Because look at the path. It is treading like this. So what's going to happen with Ondo? First of all, Ondo has come down and found support at its own bull market support band. I suppose you could say for a month the price action has been boring. I would agree. With Drop Dead, the price action is not there. We've kind of been in this kind of, you know, horrible downward path like that. We are stuck under this trend line. However, we're talking about a $1 Ondo. We're talking about a market cap of $1 billion. It's already got $600 million of assets TVL already, and it's not even properly live. I expect this to be, I don't know, finger in the air, maybe a $10 to $12 billion project as more and more people come onto it. And again, I said this about our real world assets before, they're going to decouple from crypto. Why on earth is the price of Ondo connected to the price of Bitcoin when Ondo and its services are completely real world? That's something to bear in mind. Now we're going to move on very quickly. Meta won't launch new AI products in the EU, citing regulatory uncertainty. The door is now wide open for Google and Microsoft to gain first mover advantage over the entire continent. Meta is the latest based tech giant to pause AI releases in the European Union. Again, Apple has announced it will be withholding several AI-powered iPhone features from customers in the EU. So far, neither company's given a timeline or described what exactly needs to happen for the embargoes to lift, but both companies have cited regulatory uncertainty as the catalyst. We will release a multimodal llama model over the coming months, but not in the EU due to the unpredictable nature of the European regulatory environment. Again, my issue with the EU, it's broken down the support level. It has, but it's also bounced off its bull market support band. And if the markets go up, which I think they will do over the next 4 or 5 days, Ondo will be back at $1.20, I think. And listen, trust me, if Ondo is at 80 cents next week, I am going to be piling into Ondo. I will be buying a lot more Ondo at 80 cents. And it's not going down. It's got BlackRock. It's got everybody behind it. It's an institutional grade solution, and it's still finding its price, and we're not at its price yet. So the companies appear to be protesting different aspects of UK law. Again, I'm not a fan of the EU, and I'm not a fan of how the EU works. I'm not a fan of, by the way, I'm also not a fan of Meta, and I'm not a fan of Apple. But two wrongs don't make a right. The EU offered a deal to Twitter, Elon Musk, and that deal was very simple. You give us a backdoor into your product, and you quietly silence the opposition to us, and you will be able to operate in the EU. And Elon Musk said no, and then published a statement about it. Let me be very clear. The EU is not your friend. And whether people like Brexit or not, and again, I voted to remain, but, you know, it's a democracy. We have left the EU, and obviously the UK has got different issues, but the EU, it's a ticking, I can't say that word, it's in massive issues. It doesn't know what to do. It's got massive budget deficits because the UK has left. Ursula von whatever she's called, she's now being taken to court over various different contracts that were awarded, and she kept them private. It's a really corrupt organisation at this moment in time. And going to companies and saying, can you quietly silence our opposition and we'll let you trade here? I mean, what? Really? You know, they've tried to ban non-custodial wallets with more than 10,000 euros in. I'd like them to explain how you ban non-custodial wallets. So they don't know what they're doing. They clearly don't know what they're doing. And if I was Apple or Google or Microsoft, I wouldn't offer my solutions in Europe, full stop. I would bite my nose off to spite my face, and I would refuse to offer solutions in Europe. And it's as simple as that, because they are corrupt. Now then, we've got I don't know, we've managed to have a big long rant about Ondo, but we have got to the end of the show. SHIB, which is the usual giveaway on this channel, was hacked by Warizx a while ago. He sold all of his tokens. There is some information in here about Tornado Cash, I believe. According to a recent update from Arkham Intelligence, the hacker who attacked the Warizx exchange sold off all the SHIB tokens. There was quite a lot of them. They sold it for 26,500 ETH, $92 million. The SHIB price rallied 3% on the news. And of course, the issue here is that this hacker who stole these funds, it's a little bit like the Mt. Gox and the Germany thing. The longer this hacker holds on to those coins, it's like it's a skeleton in the closet. It's something that, you know, at some point they're going to get dumped and it's going to suppress the price. So you want it out of the way. It's like a band-aid. Rip it off, get it out. Now, the issue I've got is, does it have any information about it? About them using, what's it called? Tornado Cash. No. Okay. So, right. Again, Do I think the Tornado Cash developers should have been sent to prison? No, I don't. I don't think you can't make software and then be sentenced to something that didn't, we're not talking about making a virus here. They've made an app. However, do I think Tornado Cash should exist? I think for the benefit of mankind, it should be closed down. I do not think that if we want crypto to be taken seriously, we should have anything like a Tornado Cash. It is a place where you can deposit your funds, and those funds can be swapped out for other funds, and there is no trace. Crypto in India is in the drains. Yeah, but I heard Modi was trying to sort it out over there. I heard Modi was the best thing since sliced bread. And interestingly enough, India didn't remove the petrodollar, which a lot of other countries did. If you remember, I think, is it Saudi and Russia and China, they've removed the petrodollar, but India have kept it. So I don't know whether there's been a deal done with America on that. I don't know how that works. All I'll say is that it's too big a country to ignore crypto for too long. It can be left behind. And, if you look at the industrial revolutions that we've had, we've had different types of industrial revolutions, and the internet was another industrial revolution. If you look at crypto, it could be seen as another industrial revolution. So India can't get left behind, and it's too big a country to be left behind. And if it is left behind, it will play catch up, as India will do. Will they create, they'll make another similar to Tornado Cash like Railgun? They will, but the thing is, it's about liquidity. So it's not like, in the olden days, and we can't talk about certain things on here because I'll get turned off again, but in the olden days, you could create directories of things you could go and get. And they were all closed down. And over time, yes, it is the Indian exchange, yes. But the hacker stole from them, he took Matic and all these other kind of things. But the issue with Tornado Cash is, it's not that anybody can copy the software and upload it. It's the liquidity behind it. That's the key. And over time, you've seen these file sharing websites become less and less popular and kind of go out of fashion because they were taken offline and taken offline and taken offline. And with Tornado Cash, back in the day, I remember when somebody was talking about it, they were saying you could only process $1 million a day through Tornado Cash because it didn't have the liquidity. Now, that sounds a lot, $365 million a year, whatever. It's really not a lot of money. And as crypto gets more mainstream and takes on more of a market cap, these types of businesses will start to disappear, and they won't exist in 5 or 6 years' time in any reasonable way. And they're not going to exist because there will be a global commitment to closing them down. It's a threat to the stability of crypto in your country. So if you have a Tornado Cash and it's copied and it's called Turbo Cash, Turbo Cash happens to be in, Indonesia. They will go after Indonesia, and Indonesia will have sanctions placed on them, and it'll be shut down. And then it moves to, say, Taiwan. And then you're going to end up with Tornado or Turbo Cash being based in a country that nobody wants to put their money near because you're not going to trust it. And that's when it's going to finish. And you're going to end up with a situation where it will still exist, but it will not have the same impact that what we've got at the minute. And I think that's a good thing. I don't personally think we should have those kind of tools. I know Vitalik uses it to send donations to charities so he can't be traced. But again, the irony of that isn't lost on me. Vitalik, the head of Ethereum, trying to build a decentralized exchange, but then tries to hide his donations to charities. The irony isn't lost on me, and it shouldn't be lost on you either. Bitcoin is not the tool that you would use if you were trying to do illicit activities, because it's all on chain. And anybody that you hear say, well, it's just used by people to do nefarious things, don't understand crypto. They don't understand how it's a public blockchain. So I don't see a future for Turbo or Tornado Cash, whatever it's called. Monero, I think, is on the way out. Privacy coins are on the way out. It's all well and good people saying that we're still going to hold them, we're still going to use them. You've still got to cash out. You've still got to cash out your coins, and I think their days are numbered. And I don't necessarily agree that their days should be numbered. I don't think they're illegal, whereas I think Tornado Cash is. And I think that'll be the end of them. But anyway, I am going on. Right, thank you everybody for coming. It is 12:05. I'm going to go and make some videos now for the OGs. I'm also going to go and make some videos on what I think is going to happen to the Ethereum price. And I believe Tariq has sent me a project to go and look at. So I will go and have a look at that as well. Happy Friday. I will not be streaming tomorrow. It is too hot. Probably we will start doing Saturdays again in September, but July and August is too hot. It's like 30 degrees at midday. It's just not a pleasant experience. So we won't be streaming tomorrow. I will be streaming again on Monday, as will the Oracle. So have a great weekend. Keep an eye out for the videos. Stay safe. And I don't know. Let's make America great again. I suppose we'll finish on that. Right. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you all on Monday.